This is the Sense Podcast hosted by one and only the greatest ever to ever do it. You know it, the Sense Podcast. Very ruins. Shout out to J News TV. Very special shout out to a very special person, J News TV. But what I want to say is the course, right? The course. Course of value, the course of shock. Now, I have one of the biggest events happening tomorrow. What are the biggest events? If you're listening to it today, then you'll know tomorrow. It'll be huge, very huge. Save the Kids, very huge premiere. It's gonna have a lot of people there, a lot of great people, a lot of wonderful people, a lot of great YouTube channels, and I hope some of you click on those channels. But definitely when you come into the premiere, tag Save the Kids over and over. And don't ever forget to subscribe because the one thing I love so much is my subscribers. I love them so much. But even more than them, I love J News TV the most, of course. But I love my subscribers, and I think of always giving back. I'm going to give back because they deserve it. They gave me so much push and love for me to be at, as many subscribers as I am now. But the Sense podcast have always been successful, even when YouTube was trying to take it down. It's very successful. It done numbers that nobody else has ever seen in a small, short-term podcast. We're talking thousands and thousands of views, 10, 11,000. If you put it all together, it's wonderful. It's 30,000 views altogether. But the Sense podcast is very popular. If you put all my podcasts together, you get about 80,000 views off of just the podcast alone. So when you do the numbers and you do the work, you'll realize I had the most fantastic podcast ever. And the only reason I stopped, I didn't quit, I didn't give up. The only reason I stopped is because really, when I think about platforms, I was thinking about moving to Twix. Because they're a little bit more fair. They're a little bit more fair. YouTube is not as fair to me as Twix will be. But I was thinking of doing Twix because they're a little bit more fair. They're a little bit more honest. And they let me have a lot more leeway of saying what I want to say. Saying what I want to say. Because the one thing I won't be is silent. They can't silence me. Nobody can silence me. They never been able to silence me. I was in school, and even when teacher would say something, I'd say, teacher, please, please, let me speak. I always said my piece, no matter what. I always said my piece. No one was ever able to silence me. I think we need to speak up a lot. People wonder why kids don't talk out, don't speak up, don't say when they've been touched, groomed, or they've been hurt because they're scared, they're frightened because nobody gave them their voice. We have to give them their voice the same way we teach them language. We have to teach them to always speak because if they don't learn to speak up when they're young, they're going to be quiet when they get older. And then what's so bad about it, they'll hide things. When you make it so terrible, when a person tell you something or you don't care, those moments live for kids forever. We must show that we care and we must give them voices because if they don't have voices, we have a very, very big problem. But one of the greatest things that you will hear always on the Sense podcast is never ever be silent. Don't let no one silence you. I believe in free speech. Do you? I believe in saving kids. Do you? I believe in protecting kids. Do you? I believe no child should be hungry. Do you? We need more people to believe these things and to act out on helping the communities for these things. We can spend a lifetime doing wonderful things, or we can spend a lifetime doing bad things. And the one thing that I really want you to know, more than anything, is we're not going to do the bad things. We're going to do the very, very good things. The very good things. But I will say this, we have to change, not with time, not because somebody told us. We have to change evolutionary wise, where we talk about internet is so good, but when it haven't existed for thousands of years, remember you go thousands and hundreds of years back. You could just go about 50 years back. Cell phones wasn't this permanent. It wasn't big. We had telephones, but it was not like this where you could text and video and stream and all these things that we do now. It wasn't like this. We need to have set values where we go back to that land, where we go back to where we put some work in, because like never before, more people are getting lazier and lazier. We need people to stand up and be strong. In all course of history, we had strong people, and that's how we was able to move forward. Whether you've been colonized or not, we need to move forward. Some people stay in the past, but I tell you right now, the future is bigger and brighter than ever, and we just need to move towards it. All this talk of end of times, they've been saying this for thousands of years. End of time, it's gonna end. We need to focus on living, and living a good way, living the right way. And one thing that I really want to say is we have the biggest economic dream in the world, which is where we could be anything we want and we can do it in such a fast rate time. Everyone I know, practically 85% of the people I know, always told me I should be a politician. I should sit on a board. I looked it up. I looked up the job. I said, I don't know, I might be a politician. And I looked at it and they don't do much. If anything, they sit in a job where they're yes men for 15 years, and then after that they finally can get a seat as a mayor or a mayor assistant or something like that. But they don't do much. They don't do anything. They pin pushers. And the thing about it, it consumes so much time of your life just to become crooked or corrupt. The system is not good. We need to start waiting on other people to help us and help ourselves. We have too many countries, towns, and cities where the community is helping each other. They're not waiting on people. They're helping each other. They're doing the work themselves. We need to get back to that. We need to start doing things for ourselves and not waiting for government, not waiting for someone else to stick up or stand up. We need to just take the initiative to do it ourselves. And let me say something. We have the best. If you think about the standard of this, we have the best connection we can ever have to the world because we have internet and we can talk, and people from around the world can hear us talk, no matter where they're from, who they are, what their race. They can hear us talk, and if they don't like it, they don't have to keep listening. But if they like it, they can listen and learn something. And the one thing that we really want to push and teach: save the kids all the time. Save the kids. What happened with Dalai Lama? The little Dalai Lama. What happened with that Chinese man with the little kid sticking his tongue out saying suck it, kissing the little kid was so nasty. This weirdo got away with it. But let me tell you something. Someone there, someone there who was there, who was standing by, should have never allowed it. We need people to take course of action. His head should be on a platter because what he did was so wrong. It was so disappointing, so nasty, so sickening. And it was broadcast over the media over and over and over. And the worst thing that I saw about this is not just only the kissing that he kissed the kid, but they also showed the kid face. We have no protection over children. What is going on? It's 2023. Where is the protection? We have lived through enough time with no protection. We need protection. Most importantly, to the children. I think it's so important because they're our future, but they're also weak. They need someone to stand in for them. They need someone to stick up for them because they can't do it themselves. They're being manipulated. They're being destroyed. Simple minded people are not standing up enough. Let me say why I say simple minded, because people who are very intelligent, or people who say people are intelligent, people who are intelligent, what are you really intelligent? How are you really intelligent? Ask yourself that question. How are you really intelligent? I want to be intelligent in the right way. I'd rather really be simple. To be honest with you, I'd rather be simple than intelligent. But people who are intelligent, how are you intelligent? And what way are you intelligent? Because if I see you in a room and a child is being harmed, hurt, kidnapped, and you did nothing, you're not very intelligent to me. You're not an intelligent person. If a child is being hurt, dragged, insulted, and you say nothing, you're not intelligent to me. If a school is being shot up and kids are in harm's way and you don't rush in there, I'll tell you what, I will rush in there so fast. I'll be faster than a police officer. I would go in there so fast if I see the school being shot. If I seen a kid in harm's way of gunfire, I would rush so fast to those kids to protect them. But if you see kids being killed or shot at or in harm's way and you do nothing, you're not very intelligent to me. You're not. You're not very intelligent. You're not a nice person. Let me tell you something. We all freeze. We're not perfect. But when it's kids in danger, you should put your life on the line. You're worse than a coward to me. And you're definitely not intelligent. But people use that word very loosely. Intelligent. You're a very intelligent person. What makes you that? Who says you that? I can't tell you who you are. You can't never allow a person to tell you who you are. But I will say this in my definition. What makes you that? Who told you that? Oh, this person is intelligent. I don't believe you. I haven't seen this person in any situation. I haven't seen them do anything that was worthwhile or amazing that made them seem intelligent. I haven't seen it. You make horrible decisions all your life and a person call you intelligent. Do that make sense? We need people to stand on higher levels when it comes to building people. We need to use the right words because when we categorize bad behaviors and good ways, or we qualify things that are not necessary, we end up destroying what we're trying to build. This is the problem in Central Nation, NATO, Russia, China. We have the biggest problems in all of our social, from Asia to Europe to Northern America to Central America. We have the biggest problems, which is we don't have actual respect. If you understand what I mean, we don't have actual respect, general empathy for one another, respect, empathy. We don't hold anybody in high regards, and when we do, they be the worst of people. When we hold them into high regards, we need to hold good people in high regards. We need to hold Jesus Christ in high regards. I always say this: you could go to many other channels, you won't see anything about Christ or Jesus or God because they're scared to mention them. They get less views actually. If you look up the views for it, you get less views. The highest video on YouTube do not have God in that video. You get less views, it's true. But people are so scared to mention Jesus, God. They're so frightened. They're so frightened. They don't understand why they're frightened. They're so scared. Because religion, they say, oh, they can't sell. It's not real. Alleged, right? This is alleged. Because if I don't say alleged, right, they'll stop. They'll stop it and say, oh, my video's so wrong. We got to take it down. One strike for you. That's why I'm going to Twix, because I don't want to get a strike anymore. They're much, much more fair. Much, much more fair. And my sense podcast would thrive there without a question. But like I said, you can't do it no more. You can't do it anymore. Free speech is not heard of. It's not heard of in a lot of countries, to be honest with you. And silence have been a world problem. But if you go to the Middle East, Europe, Asia, Central America, North America, it's one problem that we all have. And it's the same problem. And they haven't gotten better, they haven't gotten fixed no matter what politician you put in the seat. haven't got better because we still see around the world the from depression to a rise. And what I mean by that is we still see children hungry and we still see kids being raped, killed, or worse. You wonder, how do it get worse? Well, they kidnapped them and put them in cages or dungeons or whatever you want to call it for years. Years. And sometimes they don't get found until they're super old or they die out in the desert. They actually drive them out to the Sahara Desert and let them die. It's the sickening thing ever. Sickening. We need to protect our children. We need to protect them. Kids need to be protected because if you don't protect them, who will? Who will protect them? We need to see something, say something, because if we don't, people who are so horrible in this world will get away with keep doing horrible things. The fact that Dalai Lama came out and he apologized for what he did makes no difference. He apologized because it went in a different route than he thought it was. He thought he could get away with it. And then they said, "We want your head on a plate." And he changed his mind. He's a coward. And if I had 5 minutes with him, 5 minutes by myself, I guarantee you, he wouldn't have hands. He wouldn't have a tongue to ever hurt a child again. And he might be missing something else. Because let me tell you something. When a person do something like that, you can only imagine what they're doing behind closed doors. It amazed me when people say, "Oh, just they was making a joke." It's not a joke. It's never a joke. Especially when it comes to a child. You never say stuff like that. It's not funny. It's not a joke. No one is laughing. It's not cool. It's not okay. And if that's a joke to you, then that's very scary because I want to know what's a non joke to you. But I never take it lightly when people talk about hitting women, rape, or hurting children, or anything sexual with children. I never take it funny. I never take it as a joke. I don't think it's hilarious. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's worth talking about. And I don't think it's a good thing to do. Because let me tell you something. If a guy comes, and this is the greatest sense that you're gonna ever get, and I know a lot of things that I'm saying right now. If you can keep up with what I'm saying, because I have a lot of energy, and if you could keep up with what I'm saying, it makes sense. But if a guy tells you or tells a woman to her face he'll hit her, or say something, remark to hitting a woman, he's the worst person in the world. Let me tell you, because what are you doing behind closed doors? Why do you find it funny? What is funny about hitting a woman as a male? There's nothing funny about that. It caused harm and destruction. I'm sickened to even hear someone say something like that. I had a horrible guy one time told me I would beat the crap out of a woman if she hit me. And I looked at him. I was so disgusted because there's so many ways to handle this, but to literally enforce or pound or beat upon someone who didn't have sense in their head, it's not a very good thing. It's not, and it's so disgusting because he never talked about beating up guys. He would always say, "Oh, I would beat a woman up. I don't care." And I looked at him and I said, "Well, beat me up then." I said, "Fight me," and he got so scared. He was so timid, so timid. If you're such a tough guy, fight me. I'll give you a fight. I'm not worried. I'll give you a fight of your life. But don't stand there and tell me that you're gonna fight a woman and you pluck. You want to fight a woman, you can fight me. I welcome it anytime. I'm not worried, trust me. I'm not worried. But when I told him he could fight me, he got scared. He got really scared. And I told him, I said, "You are a coward," to his face. "You are a coward," to his face. And he shut his mouth. And the next time I seen him, you know what he said to me? He said, I was just joking. I'm sorry, man. I wasn't serious about it. I was so mad. But I didn't put my hands on him because I am an adult and I understand that you don't do that. It's no excuse to do that. unless I seen them harming someone, and then I can do that. And trust me, I would have as well. But this is not about violence. You don't put violence on someone. So I didn't put my hands on him. But this is another reason why people told me I should be a police officer. I said I can never do it. They said, why not? Because I can't deal with pedophiles. And it's just the truth. If someone touched a child and was in my face, he would have a very bad day. He would have a very bad day around me because I wouldn't stand for it. I don't believe that they are people. You're not human to want to hurt a child in that way. You're not human. If you want to touch a kid, you're not human. You are a monster from day of birth because there's no way self-consciously we live in a world where people say, "Oh, just do what you want." And then people do it. People actually do it. It's so horrible.